about ready to start. Welcome. Welcome to the Prescott Seniors Health and Wellness. My name is Kathy Inman. I'm the Executive Director of Mom Force Arizona. Mom Force Arizona is a nonprofit organization for substance abuse prevention and natural solutions. Now, while I'm not an expert, I'm a regular mom. I'm not a paid lobbyist. I'm not paid by the new campaign. I'm just someone who has been a cannabis advocate for 7 years in Arizona. And I've talked to people all across the state, and we don't need to click that yet. Thank you. I have a lovely clicker in the back. Thank you, Sarah.
Self-trained.
We don't. There's no remote, so it's going to be.
You should move.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have letters
well,
on your
you
face.
As long as, oh, okay. As long as you can kind of see me. Yes, that's better. Better. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. Thanks for straightening that out. But based on my observations, what I did as a cannabis advocate, the reason that I came into this to begin with was because as a mother, raised with a respect for life, as a mom who wants to keep kids safe, and as an Arizonan, for liberty and less government intrusion, I really couldn't ignore the injustice of cannabis prohibition. When I looked and I saw the kids in high school binge drinking, taking pharmaceutical cocktails, putting alcohol in their eye to get high, when I saw all these happening, and these were deadly, they could come to a deadly conclusion, I thought, you've got a substance that has never taken a life on record. Why on earth is this a felony in Arizona to possess? So I came out with my college-age daughter in 2008 and started a normal group to raise awareness so that people knew. And I felt that if I spoke out, that maybe we could save some lives. And now I know that over 1,800 college-age students overdose, they drink until they overdose and they die. So that's over 1,800 parents every year that get a call that their child isn't coming back from college. And I think that's just so sad when maybe with an honest education, we could prevent this. So that's why I'm here today. And I've put together this presentation based on what I've heard Arizonans ask me across the state in the last 7 years. Especially since 203 passed in 2010, many of my friends have told me that they're off of multiple pharmaceuticals, and that their bodies were feeling better, that their lives were improving, their health was improving, and they felt that they needed to re-examine the drugs that they were giving their children. And then I found out also that 1 in 5 children are actually prescribed a daily maintenance medication, which includes components of methamphetamine. And I really found this criminal because I feel that there's not something wrong with 1 in 5 children in our country, but maybe there's something wrong with the system that would allow this. And that maybe with a little bit of awareness and talking about this and some honest education, that we could actually break the cycle of addiction. When we look to the pain medications that are big business in our country, we're going to learn a lot about that today. And we realize that every 20 minutes we lose a life in America. Someone dies from these opiate medications, these painkillers that equate to heroin. That basically folks are taking legal heroin to feel better, and that we have a natural solution. I feel we need to re-examine the laws surrounding what's keeping us addicted. We've got many people on pain medications, we've got the children on amphetamines. How can we break the cycle of addiction? I say we regulate this cannabis and we teach people how it can help them and how it can hurt them. And that teens shouldn't be taking it on a daily basis because it's very detrimental. If we get together and we talk honestly with each other, I think we can come to some amazing conclusions for Arizona. So I have this presentation, and it's linked up with these little books, and I invite you all to please take one, take extras when you leave if you know anyone that needs this information. Please share it with them. And Sarara, we're about to get into it. If you would click for me, my dear. Get ready. You're about to learn something about a plant, and I'm not going to be saying this verbatim because I don't know it verbatim, but you are going to learn something about a plant you've heard an awful lot of bad about, but it's been used for thousands of years as medicine, fiber, fuel, and food. These are the list of things that we're going to learn about today. There are so many aspects of the cannabis issue that are just absolutely amazing to me, and I'm just happy to put this together for you guys so you can kind of learn a little bit in a short time about what I've learned in 7 yees. So, my yes. First of all, your body and the endocannabinoid system. This is amazing, and it was discovered in the mid-90s that we actually have a system set up in our bodies to receive the medicine in cannabis. And upon that discovery, people started really researching it. And that's why you see more things coming out in the last 15 years about this. People are opening their minds, but we really see a stymied amount of research, and we'd like to see more. Because when we're set up for this medicine, there's no reason we shouldn't be accessing it, especially when it's been proven to be so safe. Cannabidiol is one of the compounds. There's over 400 chemicals in marijuana. Cannabis is what we like to call it. That's the technical term. And there, certain ones make you feel a certain way. CBD is one that doesn't make you feel, if you have a strain of marijuana that has more, it's higher in CBDs, it doesn't make you feel as high in the head as something that's high in THC. CBD only products provide relief without the effects of those that are higher in THC. And my sources are always some of the best sources that you're going to find, because when I dig around for information, I make sure that it comes from reliable sources that come from our own government, National Institute of Health. Here's a little sketch about it that I found, just to kind of show you guys. It's literally throughout our body, and these fit into these receptors and actually help our bodies in different ways. The history of cannabis as medicine is amazing. It goes back thousands of years, and of course Eli Lilly, Park Davis, and such, they all sold this. The doctors would write a prescription prior to Prohibition for this. Queen Elizabeth used it for her menstrual cramps, and tincture is honestly the thing that is most highly recommended by me for seniors, because it is literally the safest medicine I think that you can take in the most specific amounts of dosing, so that you can kind of feel it in a slow way to get to the pain relief that you're looking for. The American Medical Association fought the Tax Act that we're going to learn about later. The doctors who spoke out about it began to lose their licenses, kept others from coming forward, which keeps a lot of people from speaking out. And I didn't thank my participants who are here today. Those of you who do speak out, thank you, because if it weren't for the pioneers, there would be no progress. There would be none. And it's a scary thing speaking out about this. The Controlled Substance Act of 1970 solidified the fate of medical cannabis, calling it a Schedule I drug, which it currently is right now. It has no medicinal value, and it remains in the same class as heroin. So what we've seen our federal government do is put heroin and marijuana cannabis in the same basket. They've told our kids through the DARE program that marijuana and heroin are the same. Schedule I is the same, it's just as dangerous. So when kids took marijuana, many kids said, hey, maybe this heroin is just, this marijuana didn't really hurt me that bad, maybe this heroin is okay too. So, that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons, I believe that and the overprescribing of pain medications that have opiates in them. These are reasons that we have a heroin problem in Arizona and across our country right now. Again, honest education. The government holds a patent for cannabis as a neuroprotectant and an antioxidant. And this is since the mid-90s as well. And then they say it has no medicinal value. To me, this is an unfortunate something that doesn't add up. Extensive history is available at National Institute of Health and National Cancer Institute websites. Just go in there and search cannabis, and you will be amazed at the things you find. Next, this is the patent itself. And we also have it on one of our boards up here, so you guys can see it for yourself. The history of Prohibition. Now, I've got a lot up here. I'm going to tell it to you like I know it. It's a short story, and you guys can come to your own conclusions, because, you know, it was mostly a story of competition. You see, you know, there was hemp, and you had the production of hemp was about to happen in 1919 bulletin, USDA bulletin number 404. They told us basically all the wonderful things that they were going to do with hemp according to the USDA. And we had the people that were in power, Hearst, Rockefeller, DuPont, you know this as paper, oil, and chemical. They had a banker with interest in their success named Andrew Mellon, who was also the Secretary of the Treasury. He appointed his nephew, Harry Anslinger, to be the head of the DEA. And with this, it solidified the fate until Harry was no longer the head of the DEA in the early 60s, that it stayed a bad drug. So if you would go to the next one, again, it was a chemical, oil, and you know, there's, oh, sorry, that's the bulletin number 404. You guys can look this up online so that you can see all the many uses that they had laid out for hemp and what it was going to replace as far as all the things that we now know today, plastics, our varnishes, all these things that were made of poisonous toxins could have been made from natural hemp. The new billion-dollar crop. This was the Popular Mechanics issue that came out in 1938 because they didn't know about the Marijuana Tax Act, 1937. They had printed this already and by mistake, and they told everybody, hey, look at all the wonderful things we're going to do. It's the billion-dollar crop, but oops, it's been taxed at a rate of $100 an ounce. Now, who could pay $100 an ounce for any kind of product in the 30s? So instead it made oil, chemicals, and paper the more affordable option for the regular folks, and hemp just kind of died away, as well as, you know, the cannabis tincture also went away because the doctors began to lose their licenses for using cannabis. They would also come and round them up for that. Again, we've had Harry Anslinger, and we said that, and how they were able to pass this Marijuana Tax Act of 1937 is they disguised the word cannabis as marijuana. Marijuana was not a word that anybody knew. It was a term used for cannabis in Mexico. It was a slang term that they used down there for this, you know, recreational smoke that they smoked after they came in from the farms. They called it marijuana. And so they wanted to put a bad word on it, calling it the Marijuana Tax Act, and slipping it by the American Medical Association, again, who fought back when they found out later. Now, they passed this without congressional approval. They were able to pass this behind closed doors, and, you know, and with the term marijuana. So nobody knew it was even happening. It wasn't up for a vote. It was just a pass. It was just done within their own little group, the Secretary of State and his nephew. So there we have it. With just one source of media in the 1930s, it was very easy to paint a bad picture of something that could upset your financial future. So what could upset our financial future? Well, so there it is in the papers owned by Hearst. They were able to take down marijuana, call it something crazy, call it something that was going to turn your kids nuts and keep them, you know, insane forever. And again, with only one source of information being the papers. This is the only thing that people knew about marijuana. That, and it was now illegal. So, next, the American farmer should have been able to work this environmentally sound resource for generations. Instead, everything's been made of oil, paper, and chemicals, giving us deforestation, air, water pollution, and the very illnesses they will not allow us to treat naturally. Anslinger, again, remained the head of the DEA until the mid-60s, and then we got the Controlled Substance Act, and that was the end of it. So through the 70s, we've had Mother's Little Helper, which is now Paxil or Xanax, and the Center for Disease Control calls pharmaceutical abuse an epidemic. 1 in 5 kids are prescribed an ADHD medication. We know seniors are overprescribed, and at the end of the day, CVS is in the top 5 of the Forbes 500. There is a new Reefer Madness campaign trying to keep those in power on top. They don't care about your health. They're going to be out there and telling you stuff. You know, all we can do is give you the other side of the information. I want you to do your own research and take your health into your own hands. History as a utility. The first American flag, the Declaration of Independence, one of the drafts at least, to our knowledge. U.S. currency up until the 1800s, all made of hemp. Hemp was an absolutely worldwide utilitarian product. And again, used in the 1600s, it was mandatory to grow. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson had hemp farms. And during World War II in 1942, they brought it back, and the government encouraged farmers to grow hemp due to the shortage of imports through a film called Hemp for Victory, because we couldn't have hemp. Thank you. And there it is, U.S. Department of Agriculture presents Hemp for Victory. Yet we don't have anything made of hemp and it's illegal. Declaration of Independence, again, just one of the drafts. I don't think it was the original one. But our original flag for sure. And of course, this would absolutely benefit our environment completely. Hemp fiber is able to be produced without chemical pesticides. Hemp stalk produces 4 times the utility fiber as tree pulp. It will grow in almost any soil and gradually improves the soil. All oil and chemically based clothing, plastics, paints, and solvents, just to name a few, could be replaced with natural non-toxic hemp. And cars could actually be fueled with hemp. And these are my sources. Again, in your books, you'll find the sources. I think there's only 5 basics to good health, you guys. Making sure you have enough, your 8 glasses of water a day, you're eating healthy, you're getting enough exercise, you're getting out into your community, making friends, doing something, trying something new. If you do all these things, you're going to get enough sleep. And then maybe you won't need any pharmaceuticals at all. Maybe you won't need to even try cannabis. The fact is that we've gotten out of the routine of health in our country. Our diets really are kind of debilitating. We put things like meat and potatoes, lots of sugar in our bodies, and sugar is so detrimental and actually feeds cancer. I've been alerted, which is something that just really makes us